Hello everyone, welcome back to Royalty Soaps and a new soap theme. This month's theme is called Espresso Yourself and it is inspired by beverages. But not just any beverages, sort of fall themed beverages. It is August, but this entire collection is being released on September 6th, which happens to be my daughter's birthday. And therefore, just in time for all of your back to university purchases, your back to school hauls, I wanted to make sure that I was setting y'all up for autumn in a decent time. So even though you're going to be seeing some autumnal themes in August, the actual soaps won't be available to purchase until September. We're starting off strong with our caramel apple cider soap. And as you can probably tell from the title, it gave me a fair bit of trouble. I'm not going to elaborate. Just, you'll see. Let's make some soap. I fully expect this to be one of my favorite soaps of the month. The colors are so autumnal, and the fragrance is a signature blend I created myself with notes of caramel, warm apples, cinnamon, and sugar spice, and a base of vanilla. Let's blend it on up. This soap batter is looking absolutely stunning. Just pour this off real quick. Gonna wipe down the edges here. And we'll start adding our color. So this first one is a blend of 24 karat gold mica and a color called Fire Cider. I will have to look up where that one is from because I am pulling this color from the vault. I only have a teeny tiny bit of it left. Into this container, I am simply adding some orange oxide, nothing more, nothing less. And then into our large container, we're adding Trial by Fire blended with spicy tomato to deepen it. All right, let's blend those up and see how we like the colors. These are perfect. Time to add in my secret sauce fragrance blend. I'm gonna start by blending in my fragrance by hand. Every single time I bring back an old fragrance, I do start with blending by hand regardless of how I remember that soap performs, because between the time that I used it and now, the fragrance supplier may have changed the ingredients, and better safe than sorry, you know? This seems to be performing well with zero issues. Slight thickening, which is to be expected for any sort of apple or caramel fragrance. So let's go ahead and pour. The goal at this point is to beat the clock and get as many swirls out of this as I can. My colors are getting quite thick. Wow, like, come on, guy. Just let it go. Looks like I may have spoke too soon when it came to saying that this soap didn't misbehave. Only thing left for a soap like this is to try to swirl in the mold. This may not end up creating the most luxurious swirl, but it will at least break up those huge chunks of color and get us a little bit of separation. I don't know. I'm always surprised with how nice those in the mold swirls end up turning. Let's see if I can save this batch by adding an oil drizzle on top. Somehow, I kind of doubt it, but here's to hoping, you know? And whenever you get a soap that like obviously has gotten thick in the mold, trying to texture it a little bit is typically, in my opinion, a good idea, because chances are the top of that soap is never gonna look the way you originally planned for it to, probably not gonna be able to swirl it. So adding a little bit of texture kind of makes it look like a little more purposeful. I don't know if all the rest of the bars that we make of this fragrance are gonna look exactly like this, but they'll probably still be a little bit textured on top. And you know what? Nobody has to know except for me and like 30,000 other people. I'm always surprised whenever I make soap like this, like who thinks it's not a big deal versus who thinks it's the biggest deal. So other soap makers would be like super judgmental, but people who don't even care about like handmade soap at all are like, yeah, that looks awesome, dude. That's like super cool. Which just goes to show you it's all about perspective, isn't it? My main concern always with bars like this is that I end up with certain soaps that are extremely underweight and other soaps that are, you know, a couple of ounces taller because I wasn't able to spread the soap evenly. Most of the time, these middle bars end up having more than the end pieces, etc. But all that means is that we end up creating either samples or we end up donating stuff to Eco Soap Bank. So honestly, it's not a big problem either way. I do think this entire batch would definitely benefit from having a little bit of like autumnal glitter on top. So I'm going to look around and see what I have. I have this pretty little custom mix that I made a couple of years ago for an autumn soap. It has bits of gold, bits of red, and bits of copper. So that's kind of the perfect addition to this batch. I'm also going to add a little bit of gold stardust because I just think that that will help everything. Let's take some time to clean up our soap mold. Most of the time I do this with a wet rag, but I actually am washing that rag right now, so I'm gonna have to make do with what I have. This makes unmolding a lot easier. Another thing you can do is take a paint scraper like this, and anywhere you can see that is going to not really be included in a bar, or maybe it's going to get planed off, you can kind of just pick that up. I've got a little bit of that going on right here. I know that these edges are going to get planed, so scrape it off, and then if there's anywhere on the soap that looks like it just needs a little bit more, or if everything looks relatively even, you can take this extra soap, put it in a little mold, and then keep like a scrap soap. Often that's what I end up doing because I always do this after I've textured the top. But yeah, this just makes cleanup tomorrow way faster. One more time, just to get the edges. And that's about it for this batch. So I'm gonna let it sit for 18 to 24 hours. I will keep an eye on the top of this because it's set up so quickly. I do think that this batch may gel, and in that case, I wanna make sure that it doesn't crack too bad in the middle. So I'll keep an eye on it. I'll let it sit for 18 to 24 hours, and then we'll come back and we'll split it tomorrow and we'll see what the damage is after this quick commercial break. Okay, the next day, it does look significantly better. I really thought this was gonna be a complete disaster, but it smells really good. The colors are vibrant. There are some spots in there, some little holes and imperfections. So this batch will probably end up being peasanted or donated. Or maybe turned into samples because it's just not up to my royal standards, even though it's great soap. You can see there's color all the way through it. The top looks really nice. Like, it smells amazing. It just isn't quite there when it comes to looks. I try not to let any bars go through that have any major holes in them. I haven't found any yet, but I know I probably will. I'm picking these up and like, these look all right.
Did somebody say question of the day?
Yes.
Here's your question of the day.
All right.
Would you rather never have to sleep or never have to eat?
Never have to eat. I never want to eat ever again. It takes up so much time. I actually like sleeping because I feel like I can just go into another place. I feel so refreshed. But eating like 3 times a day, I have other things I want to do.
Wow, I disagree.
I say that though, and then think about the fact that I have just never gotten to try foods from other countries at all.
And now you never will.
And now I never will. So I may change my mind for that reason alone. Like, I've never got to experience any of the other cultures' food, and so I'm like, I don't want to give that up. Sleep it is. I guess I'm going to stay awake forever. How could you? How could you smell so good and give me so much trouble? Future batches will not look this choppy. They won't have this many holes in them, and hopefully the top doesn't look so slapdash. But the fragrance is divine. It's just enough apple, just enough cinnamon, just enough caramel, and it doesn't smell weird in a soap. It actually smells like it's supposed to be in a soap. Once again, release day for this is September 6th at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is a Friday. And so until next time, have an absolutely royal day, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.